just having that desire to grow and to feel that it's hard and still push through it. Like, right, that's the consistency of deciding to do something and go through and move forward with it, that I think it's lost for a lot of us, that we kind of start and then the change is like, oh, okay, it's kind of hard. I'm going to back it up a little bit because I'm used to doing it this way. But then it's like, then you don't build that consistency, and the change comes easy with consistency because then it's one step at a time or one thing or one moment at a time versus just trying to change everything or having the whole picture all the time.
If you're not consistent, you will not be able to achieve the results that you want in whatever area you want. If you want to achieve success in anything, you need to be consistent. And without consistency, it will be very hard to achieve whatever it is, because you need to do the hard work again and again and again until you get successful. So today we're talking about consistency with Tanya, another movement maker. Hello, Tanya.
Hi.
So tell me first, what does consistency means to you, and how does it affect your life?
Well, consistency, I think all of us can work on it. I think that's one of those self-disciplines that was never really taught to a lot of us growing up in some ways, depending on what family you came from. And right now I'm just trying to really focus on my own consistency with love and self-love, holding myself accountable to my own feelings and just, moving forward, because we all have dark days that come, and I've gone through my own dark days in the past and I'm going through some right now. And so it's just like consistently remember that it's not the end, like one more day at a time, like, and then just doing things to help you feel good, like that's one of my things, is to be inspired, because I know what it's like to not have any inspiration. And I know I've made it through those dark days, and sometimes people need a little boost to help get through that. But, just picking something that you want to work on and then doing it. And that's like the hardest part, it seems like, is actually doing it and committing to your own self, So that's kind of what it's been meaning to me right now, especially when you are looking into, with other people, like what are they consistently giving to you as well, like I think that a lot of us have to fill our own cup so that we can be full and alive and have more to give. But sometimes when people are taking from us all the time without really giving or giving to themselves, then you have to kind of take care of yourself too at that same time,
I agree. I completely agree. We need to first, I agree that we need to take care of ourselves first, like in a way, not in a selfish way that we only think about ourselves. But if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to be able to take care of someone else? And
Yep.
Of course, there are always like the people that drain you and abuse your like gifts and your contribution. But this is why you need to be aware, as you said, you need to be aware, and you need to know when to cut it off. I had many people like that in my life, like more in my career kind of than my personal life as well. And in personal life as well, I've just managed to learn how to cut them, and I'm always there for them in a way, but I try not to allow them to take advantage, because I see it in a way, because I want to help as many people as possible and stuff like that, which I guess most of us are trying to do here, like in movement makers and stuff like that. But I realized that many times, if you're there for them all the time, then actually you're not helping them, because they can't be independent and they can't take responsibility. And when they take responsibility, they take back power, which that's how I see it. I see that if the more responsibilities you have, in a way, not keeping yourself busy, but like take real responsibility and ownership about something, the more power you have over it. And if you try to give your responsibilities to everyone and try to just avoid everything and drain and just take and take and take, then you give your power away. So then your life depends on what others have for you, not what you create from life. So I like what you said also. I think I don't hear you good.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Okay, now I hear you good.
Yeah, I was being quiet. I was being quiet.
Okay, no, I thought you said something and I didn't hear anything. So yeah, I agree. I agree with you that we need to fill our cup and we need to know when to stop and how much. And I see it lots. I'm going a bit sideways, but I see
Okay.
it. I see it lots with parents that for some reason they couldn't have lots of things in their childhood and they wanted lots of things for themselves, and then they give everything to their kids, everything that they think the kid needs and everything that the kids want, and that leads to breeding as raising kids that are just used to receiving everything without really making any effort, and that leads to lots of problems in the future for the kids themselves, because then they go out in life and they see that life is not like that. It's not just I want this and it just happens right away. And then because they're not used to this new concept of life, and that can really leads to a lot like kills their dreams and desires and leads to depression and all kind of other stuff like that. I went a bit sideways, but
That's
it
okay.
brings.
I agree totally. I mean, I'm a new momish kind of. My daughter's two, and I agree with you. It's like right now with the technology phase, it's so easy to be like, "Oh, here's my phone. Here you go. Oh, yeah, it's fine." But then you think, what are you teaching them? Like now as an adult, I'm trying to learn a lot of these skills of like, you know, be patient. You have to wait. You have to really put in the work and the effort in order to make it through these because I was in that cusp of like having things instant, that easy button with like the internet and everything. And these new children that come in, they don't know anything different and they're unhappy and cry. So they instantly get dopamine with the TV on. And my daughter is about to hit 2. So it's like, oh, being 2 is so hard. So you have to be patient and you have to let them cry a little bit because they want it right now when they want it and they want to do what they want to do. And it's like, I'm sorry, baby, but it doesn't work that way. So I agree. Plus, when you also don't consistently love yourself and allow people to mistreat you, then you, like you said, you get down that depression cycle. And sometimes when you're down there, it's so hard to get back out. But I think sometimes too, when you've been there before, you can recognize it easier and remember like, oh, I've been here before and I made it through it, even if it didn't feel like it. So it's going to be okay. I can make it through this again, you know?
Yeah, that's a very nice way to see things. I like it. But it's true. It's you can't like we often forget where we've been and what we went through, and also like both positive and negative, because we think that we were. Sometimes we think that things happen easier for us, but sometimes we think that we knew it all and we didn't need to learn anything and we were not making any mistakes when you were younger, and we expect our kids or like the younger, like someone younger than us, to not make these things. But usually and that's what happens when we just forget what we've been through and we forget what we've been. I have a little brother that he's like 13 or 14, 13, and sometimes I give him because I see him as an adult, and I give him lessons for life, because that I wish someone gave me much earlier. My life was going to be, not that it's bad now, I love my life, but it could have been much better, and I could have had, for example, bigger impact and so on, so forth. And but I forget sometimes that, let's say in his case, when you're a teenager, you don't care that much about big mission. You care about what your friends think and what's in school and whatever. And nowadays, what's in TikTok or whatever else it is. So.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I think that's also part of our life, right? Like there's that chapter that we all have to go through, I mean, when you're little, you just don't know and don't understand. I mean, you think you're 18 and you're an adult, but really you're 21 and you're still a baby adult, and you're 25, and now at least here in America, the insurance is like, oh, now you're an adult at 25. And so like that's really when life begins. You finally are getting your mind straight, and you have to experience life in order to really know what you're going through, essentially.
Yeah, that's why I think it's good to. This is why we go back to the thing that some people may drain you because they feel that like they are energy vampires or whatever they call them. They just suck out life from you, and most of the time it's because they're used to that, and because they see that it works for them. They don't realize how much it doesn't work actually. How bad is their life in general if they're like that, and if you keep feeding them, they will never search for better things. If you keep giving them yourself, and they will not, because they're not forced to, because we don't like, most of us, like not most of us, everyone doesn't like change. So some understand the bigger part of it, and this is why they want it, but no one really likes change. Well, we like things to be okay, like organized and the way we know it, the familiar things. But of course, some realize, and I realized myself as well, that change happens inevitably, no matter if we want it or not. So depending on us, we have a big power to create the change either for us or against us, or we just leave it. And so change will happen no matter if we want to be a part of the where it goes or not. So this is why we need to work. I don't know where I was going with this. I lost my thought, but
Sure. But I think that we do all have that resistance to change. Like you said, we enjoyed the comfort. We like knowing what we have. And I think growing, though, like, I've been listening to a lot of motivational things, myself, because I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to find the clarity in my own mind too still, which is going to be a forever long process. I think I'll be 60, 70, 80 years old and still learning something. But just having that desire to grow and to feel that it's hard and still push through it. Like, right, that's the consistency of deciding to do something and go through and move forward with it, that I think it's lost for a lot of us, that we kind of start, and then the change is like, oh, okay, it's kind of hard. I'm going to back it up a little bit because I'm used to doing it this way. But then it's like, then you don't build that consistency, and the change comes easy with consistency, because then it's one step at a time, or one thing or one moment at a time, versus just trying to change everything or having the whole picture all the time. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. And we don't need, the thing is, we think that we need something great to change in order for us to create some change, but actually it's going back to the consistency, the small, simple steps that we are doing on a constant basis that actually create our life and create who we are, create our habits and so on, because our habits are what determine our life, not something that we do once. And
Or the stuff we've done in the past.
Sorry?
The stuff in the past too, I think a lot of people look back at the past like, oh, I already did this and I've done that and that's what I do. But it's like, that's the past, right? Like, now we're looking in this moment forward. If you choose to do that same thing you already did, then that's still who you are right now. And it's your choice, right? Like, you have to make that conscious effort and decision and choice to do not what you are upset that you did, or like regretting that you did, or different people feel different things, or where it's like you wish that you didn't act that way, but then you continue to act that way. So I think that's where the consistency comes in, right? It's like, okay, if I now don't do this way, now I know one day it's a little different, and that's one step I can do again tomorrow or later today even, like, okay, I'm like, with the whole like depression side part, but it's like those mind thoughts come into your head, and people, I don't know if you've heard, I'm not sure where I got it, where it's like your mind is a garden. So all your thoughts, they can either be beautiful flowers or they're like weeds, right? Like bad thoughts, ones you don't want to have. And so like they say, like, you can pluck the weeds out of your mind garden so that you can have renewed freshness. And sometimes I think just the consistency of doing that, of being like, oh, wait a minute, that's a week, that's got to go. That's not serving me right now. Like I need to reshift my own focus and be consistent with that too. And, with everything.
Yeah, and we like everyone. We think that some people are just good and they have all perfect thoughts and never think anything bad. But as you say, the weeds of the mind, they grow all the time. It's like garden. Just because you clean the weeds once, it doesn't mean that they will never show up. But it means that when you clean them, first you're more aware of them, and second, it's much less likely to affect them if you do it on a constant basis. If you just wait for them to grow, and as they say, you kill the monster where it's little. You don't wait for it to grow to the extent that you can't do anything about it. And I will go back a bit to what you said earlier, that when you start some habit or something new or some change, most of the time it's positive. And even if it's a negative one, our body, because the connection between the brain and the body is very strong. And when we go through some experience in our mind, our body doesn't make the difference if we experience it in reality or we are just thinking about it. For the body, it's the same. So when we do something on a constant basis, and also emotion-wise, so if you had some bad experience and you just go through it right again and again and again and again in your head, then that leads to your body, like your body experience the same thing again and again. So it gets used to it. It creates a habit of having this feeling, either negative, positive, or some habit that like your food or whatever it is. And when you change this, even though when you change for a better, let's say with the food, it's very easy to, because that's what I like talk about a lot. So when you're used to some certain food and you eat all the time this type of foods or this style of foods, and at some point you change it to something better, so the body feels better for sure, and it's better for the body, but the body is not used to it. So then it sends signals to the brain. It's like, what the hell is happening? You need to, there is something happening, there is some problem, that's some different things, you're not used to it, better go back to the familiar thing and go back to what you're used to. And then this is why it's hard. In the beginning, it's always hard to get used to something new. Either some new emotion, like people, this is why, for example, depressed people that have been depressed for a very long time, it's much easier to go back to depression in the first days and weeks. And also with the food, it's like that. With every change, it takes a while until we build the consistency. Then once the body adjusts, then we it's easier to sustain it. So the longer you sustain something, the easier it is to sustain it, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense completely. And I agree with that. I mean, so I'm also trying to be more active. There's all the things we're trying to work on, right? The food's, of course, one of them. Who's not trying to eat healthier, right? We all need the fruits and veggies, and who actually eats them all, right? It's the goal. And I agree with you. I think that you do have to you have to have that mindset. You have to have that commitment for the first, at least the first week to 2 weeks is going to be the hardest because you're so used to having that program in, right? But then once you're doing that, they say it takes 90 days to build a habit, and then it's easy, And I even heard something one time that's like, somebody wanted to work out and it took them 2 years to get the habit and the desire to want to work out, I hope one day I'll be there too. But right now, when I work out, it's not that I want to work out, it's that I know I need to because it's going to help. All the list of positives is here versus the negatives to not. It's okay, so I have to make that choice and go do it, right? And I'm so proud. I walked 5 days out of the last week almost, the last 6 days for 8 miles total. I'm like, wow, I can't even believe that, but now it's been happening more regularly that now I'm like, okay, after work today, I'm going to go on that walk for at least a mile, and that's going to make me feel good, both because of the physical activity and that I'm consistently doing something for me, and the exercise, of course, helps with any kind of depression, or struggled or healthy body to continue to be healthy, So yeah, that's That's key, is to get through those first hard days and to find why, right? Like, why do we want to get through those days?
Yeah, it's the why is also very important because, of course, there are all kind of studies that show that habits. Some say 20 days, 21 days, others say 300 days, and all kind of stuff. But from what I've seen, it's more. It depends of two things: how different is the habit from what you're doing, and how easy or hard it is to start it. And the other thing is that is more important is what's your mentality about this thing? How much do you want it? Because most people, let's say, go back to the weight, like, or get fitter or healthier. Most people just would like to be fitter or healthier. They don't really want it. It's not a must. It's not something that they really, really desire. And with everything in life like that, most people just wish it was better, but they're not willing to do the effort to achieve what they have to. And then that it brings me back to smokers a lot, because I worked with many people. I had helped them quit smoking and stuff like that. And the ones that go back to it, like sometimes they just don't really want it. But I noticed that it's very easy for them to go back to it if they don't give up the mentality of a smoker. So they think whatever happens, so they cannot smoke for like years, but all the time they just repeat that I'm a smoker, I'm a smoker, I'm a smoker, I'm a smoker, but I don't smoke now. I'm a smoker, and that gives you the feeling and the idea that the identity that you're a smoker. So no matter where you go, you're always going to be back to this. And the people I helped people, some gave up smoking for like less than a week, and they never smoked again. And it's because they want it so bad, and that they shift their mentality, and they say, I used to be a smoker, not anymore. It's also with the overweight and everything. I used to be overweight. And even if you may still be overweight, but just the mentality that you accept, and you create this identity and this standard for yourself, that you don't allow, once you build this standard for yourself, you don't allow yourself to go too far from it. For myself, like, I have this standard. Some people say, oh, why are you taking care of your health so much? You're healthy, you're fit, whatever, why do you still do it? And they don't understand that I have this standard in my head that I'm far from it. So of course sometimes can be a negative, because you may beat yourself up that you're very far from it, but most cases it pushes you to go more, to do more, and to reach further, and to continue doing the things, and to be consistent, so you achieve this result.
Yeah, I think that's true. The food thing, the weight thing, definitely. I mean, even for, sure, we all work on stuff, right? I mean, the same here, I think sometimes you do identify with certain parts of your life, and sometimes it's okay to identify that and to make peace with it, accept it as your truth, as that's who you were back then. But like, it's our choice now, right? Like you said, with our consistent actions to decide who we want to be, what we want to do, and like how we want to treat ourselves and take care of ourselves, and allow others to treat us. Those are all different areas that we all have consistency in, and they're all related in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way we see ourselves, it's how we will be eventually. Because if you think that I'm big boned and I'm this or this, you'll always be big boned and stuff. And
yeah.
I also thought that I'm big boned until I got super fit, and then I realized that even though I'm big boned, it doesn't affect if you're fit or not. And
right.
So I don't know how much time, because I know that you don't have much time.
Yes, I have a little bit more time still.
So do you want to tell me a bit more about what you do, and how you do it and stuff like that, so the people that are watching from my side can, if they have some desire to work with you, they can work with you?
Sure. So I am still kind of in the baby phase of my inspiration. I'm trying to live more inspired. just want to help others. I think that I've had a calling for over a year now that I need to do more and just get out of what I've been doing in my regular life. And so right now I'm still kind of learning to coach. I'm taking a class for it. But I've been through my own challenges. I'm just coming out of paying like $15,000 of debt myself over the 3 years, which, I think is pretty good because I'm not like a super millionaire or anything. So it's like, whoo, finally doing this. And, like the health thing, that's always a big thing for me. I've been in the depression phase. And so I want to like help inspire other people that might be there, like you're not alone. There's so many people, especially now with COVID, like it's actually like becoming more of a thing. Like, oh, we need people. We need to connect. We need interaction and we need to help for our mental health, But I mean, we've been needing that for so many more years beyond COVID. It's just now maybe some people that were very strong before, maybe now you're suffering because of the life that's happened to everybody, So right now that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just trying to find my own consistency in my learning and people to coach to kind of help get through the dark days. So that's kind of where I'm at. But what about you? Share on your end. Hi,
I'm very happy that you share with us what you do. And at the end, you don't have to have it all figured out. As they say, you just need to be one step ahead. So you don't need to be to have it all figured out. So I like what you do, and I'll actually, if you want, I can help you with some stuff. Or we can work together. But if you do some stuff for financial things and stuff like that, you should definitely probably collaborate with Ida. I don't know if you know her, but she's also.
Yeah, we have a plan on this Sunday.
That's great, and I'm happy to help you with the wellness, like nutrition and health and everything like that. I'm very happy to help you and either to work together towards it or just to help you achieve your goals, whatever else. I'm happy. And I'm here for support.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How much time do you have?
I probably have like another 15 minutes.
Okay, good. So tell me then about your health and health journey and fitness journey and what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it.
Okay, well, I've had my own share of like depression and stuff, right? Like right now I'm fighting my own clouds still, but that's all right. We'll get through it. I think for me, when I was younger, I had a lot of my own mental stuff I wasn't really working on that just kind of came about. Some of it seems weird, but I guess we all kind of have weird. I had a brother that was born before I was, and he was a stillbirth. So he was dead when he was born, and I didn't even meet him or anything, and it was really hard for me. So I think struggling through that when I was little, kind of, like we don't know how to cope, right? So I did eat emotionally for a very long time. Still working on that, right? When the hard days come by, we got to remember like, oh, don't just comfort yourself with food. Like now I'm walking, right? Now I'm going on lots of walks and it's been great. But this year I decided like it's time for a change. Like there's more I want to do. And so I think going back to trying to get my own emotional eating under control, getting my own weight into control. Like I've never in my adult life been a healthy weight. And that's something that I want. Like I want that. That's a goal I have now. I have a 2-year-old. I want to chase her and be there for her. I want to live a long life and help others explore travel. And how can I do that if I'm not taking care of my body, So I have started doing like a keto diet journey for a while. I did that at the beginning of the year and I lost my consistency on it, but I lost 30 pounds already this year. So that's something I'm trying to like keep in my mind and just focus my daily habits on eating better. I might go back to keto because I have good, quick weight loss. And that I think is a big part. Like, having 30 pounds less seems like a lot and not a lot at the same time because I still have a lot more to lose to really be at a healthy weight. And so I'm just trying to like find ways to keep myself excited, motivated, and into that plan, you know, like that consistency. Like I said, I walked every day and I'm planning on walking today. So that's a big one for me. I've been taking the stairs. I work with multiple like levels. I work and we have a parking garage. So I went down a level. I leveled up and now I'm taking one extra staircase going up every day and down at work. So it's like little things like that. But I just know I want to do more and be there for other people, and getting myself in a better place personally will also help me lead there, you know? So
That, that's awesome. I'm proud of you first, and I think you're on the right path with your like the mentality that you have, that you want to do more and you want to. And I just want to share because now I don't know if you see, but it's funny because it says no food, no mood. So
I like
anyway,
it.
a bit of a side note, but it's great what you achieved so far, and it's very important the mentality that and the desire that you want to do more. Because once you reach this point, then after that is easy. Not too easy, of course. There is always need to be effort included, but it means that you're on the right track, so you achieve the result. So I'll be very happy to help you with your journey, no matter how much weight, because that's my main thing. I love doing it. It's helping people getting back their health and their life and take control over their life and their themselves mainly.
Yeah.
And I think that you're really. I wouldn't suggest you to go back to keto. I'm not a big fan because it gives you good results outside, but inside the things are not as great. But I'm not going to go now into details about that. If you want, we can discuss it another time, because
Yeah.
many people have died from it and have had lots of health issues from it. So I'm not going to go too much into detail, but I believe that I can give you the right tools that you need so you can achieve your results. And because you have the most important thing, the mindset. That's the key to all of it. And the desire. And I see that you really have this desire to change. And the thing is also, as you said, small changes can make a big difference. Because I believe that if you if you're too restricted or trying to do too much at once, sometimes it works. But if you're too restricted and it's something very hard to follow for a long time, then it's very hard to sustain it. And if you can't sustain it, then it means that you can be consistent with it. It means that you're not. There is no point of doing it. For me, most of the things that I do, as I like to say, it's if I can't do it for life, I am not doing it. So it's not all the thing, but for the main things, it's how I approach it. So the methods and tools that I give to my clients is things that they can sustain for a long time without me being there.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think that's the key, right? We all have to find what we need. Like, we all need help at the beginning, but the goal is to be able to be consistent for ourselves without help one day, right? Or to be motivating others. That's, you know, that's the way it is.
absolutely. That's even more inspiring, and it makes it easier because when you know that you're not doing it only for yourself but for someone else as well, then it makes it easier to do, and it makes it more powerful and bigger why. And even for the kid, and I know that your kid is inspiration for you, but sometimes we tend to be like, oh, it is what it is. But it's good that you want to be able to go run with her, and it's a girl, right? Girl, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just trying not to run with her and have time and have quality time, because if you don't take care of yourself, then at some point she will need to take care of you. So instead of you being the parent, you will need to be the caretaker, so that's the I really believe strongly that we need to really take care of ourselves in order for us to be able to give to others. And I think it's very selfish not to take care of yourself, and selfless to take care of yourself, because this way you have much more to give, and in every area of life.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that.
So I will be very happy to if you want, of course. I'm not forcing you to do anything, but I think I can give you like good guidance how you can take things in control, and maybe who knows, eventually you may learn things in a way that you can help others and share the things that I teach you with others, so you can help as well. Because I may not be able to help everyone around the world, so I need help as well.
Right? But together we can help everyone.
Absolutely, yes. Together, that's
And
the key.
everybody joins in, that's the beauty in that connection, right? Is like when we're all in sync, then we can really make a huge difference when everyone's in it. So yeah, I mean, I think we have more time. I think movement makers will be great. We'll be in touch. I think it's fun. So where is it that you're at again?
I'm in Bulgaria at the moment.
Okay,
It's Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe. And you said it's like 4 p.m. over there, right?
Yeah, no, it's around 4, yeah, 4:10. It's
Yeah, I'm just
early
getting my
afternoon.
day started. So that's fun. That's exciting. I don't think I've ever talked to anyone from Bulgaria, so it's been a pleasure talking with you this morning.
It
For
was
me, more
very
than
nice
for me.
talking with you. And tell me, last thing, just if someone wants to work with you, where they can find you, what's the best way to contact you?
Yes. My Instagram right now is just my name, Tanya Ine. I'm also on YouTube, which is a little harder to find because I'm still working on building my subscriber count to rename myself. But I'm also on YouTube. But if you just search my name, Tanya Nay, I'll pull up there too.